episode of the Whiteboard Game. The boys talk about music chosen by their families.
So,
That's the Christmas.
okay, cool. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. It's me, Frederick Claus, and I'm here joined by...
Mrs. Claus.
That's
Hello.
right. That's right. Don't judge her. She's got a cold, so that's why she sounds a bit pitchy. She also occasionally goes by Chris for some reason. I don't know why.
Christine.
Pardon me.
Christine Claus.
Christine Claus. Oh, that's actually quite
Thank
good.
you very much.
Sorry. It's we are imminently close to a tricky divorce. I'm sorry.
You're going to be getting 2 Christmases, everybody.
Yeah, congratulations. Yes, this is our Christmas edition, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I guess.
yeah. Happy holidays to those who are celebrating it. If not, happy holidays nonetheless. You've probably got some time off work or whatever educational remit you find yourself in. Or indeed, you are a hermit and you have nothing to do with society at all. In which case, every day's a holiday. Good for you. We are here bringing you the gift of music. Another podcast for you. Another edition of the Whiteboard Game. Which by now, if you've made your way to episode 11, I doubt you would start with episode 11 necessarily. So maybe I don't need to explain the rules. But if you have, very briefly, it's a music guessing game. We give each other, me and Christine, we give each other 10 music extracts. And we have to guess who made the music, what it's called. The year it came on, we're quite lenient with that. We give each other a bit of a range. And the genre, which we're just fairly lenient on anyway, because genre is a social construct. Debate with your wall. This edition, every edition kind of has a gimmick to make it that bit more interesting. And today's one is one we've done a couple of times in the past. It's a family edition. So not only are we having to guess all of those 4 within those 4 parameters, but we also have to guess who chose this extract that we've given to the other person. We've divvied up our extracts in different ways. The way I've done it this way maybe the last 1 or 2 times, is that I've chosen 2, that's me, Frederick. My father's chosen 2, who's a regular character on this Whiteboard Game. He crops up very often. My mother's chosen 2. My sister has chosen 2. And my girlfriend has chosen 2. Because if you were to dispute with her after 3.5 years or so that she wasn't family, she'd probably beat you up. So
Well, she wants to be family.
I suppose so. Chris brackets Christine. What have you done?
Well, firstly, I'm going to say Chris, because I feel like if we go down that path,
It could get
bad. So, for want to not end the bit, but to clarify, Chris.
Not all bits can be eternal, so
Yeah, I mean, it's a Christmas bit, so if anything, I don't think anybody would want it to be
your
eternal.
name is in Christmas. That's probably more of a bit.
Yeah, I've been reminded all my life.
There you go.
I've divvied mine up a bit differently, mainly because I think I was the one that came to you with this game this month, because when we put the podcast out, my mum was very keen to make her own list.
Oh, how sweet.
Of,
That's so lovely.
of Whiteboard Game stuff. And being the somewhat pleasant son that I like to think I am, I thought, well, I have to appease her in some way. So that's why we're doing this game. But that is also why my extracts are divvied up a bit differently. So mine are just from me, my mum and my dad. And it's divvied up in such a way that my mum has 5 extracts. Again, she gave me 10, so I thought,
Blimey.
if I just take 2, then it'll be like, feels a bit rude.
Wow. Okay.
So she
Very
gave
impressive.
me, so I've got 5 of hers, 4 of my dad's, and then 1 of mine, which I guess is technically a joker.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So yeah, it would be better if we if we talked about this, it is my fault because I've done it differently to how we've done it before.
Well, it's no one's fault. I suppose it's whether or not you interpret Chris as having a harder or easier job for having only 2 of each person to assign, but then there are 5 different people. So does that make it trickier, or I don't know. There's probably arguments both ways.
I mean, I'd say you've got it easier.
I would probably agree with you, which is why I've wanted to clarify a couple of times. Are you okay with the way I've done it?
That's fine, yeah.
I do feel somewhat guilty.
That's fine. I mean, you would enjoy winning, is what I will say.
Well, if I do.
There is still that not a misnomer, still that possibility.
Mm.
But anyway, should we just get straight into it, or did you want to chat about some things first?
I guess the only thing to say is, I guess it's nice to do an Idio Twin update in general.
Mm-hmm.
Since we've last done a podcast, we had a gig at the Spice of Life,
mm-hmm.
which I think we played very well at.
Yeah, you were quite unwell, so you did very good.
Thank you. It's very kind of you. I seem to have perhaps a stubborn tendency to put a lot of energy into things when I'm unwell.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a subconscious thing of, if I don't put a lot of energy in, I'll feel worse. Or I feel anyway, so it's not going to be great anyway, so I might as well give it everything. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I was fortunate in that at this gig, I came off the stage feeling not amazing, but I know I could have felt much worse. And I made the wise decision to not stay for the whole thing. But no, we play very well. Spice of Life is a venue we will keep going back to because we like it, if we're invited, of course. And we have an upcoming gig at a restaurant called Cheeky Chico's in Elephant and Castle, which is free entry, and that's going to be quite cool.
Yeah, you can't come to it if you're hearing this because it will have already gone.
Of course. But if you listen to the next episode, we'll tell you how it went. We're being supported by friends, which is nice. One of whom we've known for many years.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool. So yeah, we're looking forward to that one. I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Shall we disclose that an album is on the way?
Yes. What? Or is it? Ooh, keep them guessing. It probably is. It's not. No, it is. It is. Yeah. There's no probably about it. It's in the final stages.
It's in the final stages. Yeah.
There'll be some kind of announcement at some point. We're not going to Kendrick you. We're not just going to drop it on you on the day. We want a bit of build up.
We're too small to be able to drop it and
to generate that much buzz with no marketing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do. I like the thought of a listening party. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll work our magic.
Exactly.
As we always do.
We'll accrue a nice audience of friends and family, and maybe a pocket of strangers. That would be nice, but we'll see. Anyway, shall we go?
Yeah, I think
let's
so.
go. Right, standard 30-second awkward period of checking who went first last time. You did.
So you go first.
I go first. That's me. I go first. Okay, so almost typed in the answer to my first one. That was bad. So your first extract, Chris, I would say fit into that category of like. It's not reggae quite because it doesn't feel like it's from the roots of reggae, you know?
Yeah.
And so when it's not that, it's ska.
Well deduced.
It is my logic. Which ska band... I was initially going to put The Police, but then I heard a voice and it wasn't Sting. Because that drumming did sound Police-like.
Yeah.
So I went for another ska band I know, which... are the Specials.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if it is the Specials. Rest in peace, the guy.
Terry Hall, yeah.
There you go, Terry Hall.
Yeah.
Stand Down, 1981, Scar. I said this was your father. I initially put your mother, but then I realised that I'd put your mother for 6 things and your father for 3, and I had to make a change somewhere, and this was the one that fell.
Okay. You got 3 points.
Thank you.
Good
I'll
job.
take that. Thank you.
This is... You might kick yourself for not getting 4. It is my mum.
Yeah, okay. So there's an elusive
Yeah.
one from your dad in there somewhere.
But I don't know if you've heard of The Beat.
I've heard of the Beat. I'm not familiar with them.
I'm not either. I just know that my mum likes The Beat a lot. The full title is Stand Down Margaret, and we'll get into why it's called that. It's a new wave. Well, I put new wave because it subtly shifts into new
It's
wave.
that time period as well, isn't
ska
it?
and dub are the main two genres that it is. 1983 is when it came out. And yeah, my mum suggested this. Yeah, I don't know too much about The Beat. I just know that they're a ska and dub band. I quite like, well, I think my main idea was mum's giving me 10. I'll cut out all the ones that I know Fred knows. Like there was some, there was some ELO and Fleetwood Mac in there, and I thought that would just be too
Could have been
easy.
jamming to Telephone Line or something. What a shame.
And when I was listening to this, I thought, you know what, I really like this. I should listen to The Beat a bit more. Now, Stand Down Margaret, the lyrics I think are, I see no joy, I only see sorrow. I don't see your plans of a big new tomorrow, something like that.
Right, okay.
Stand down, Margaret, stand down, please.
Ah.
Now, initially when I noticed it, I thought my grandma's called Margaret, so maybe she's picked it because she wants to pay homage to my gran.
Yeah.
Possibly.
That could be sweet.
But after looking, well,
I think I
looking into it
know
myself,
where this is going, I think.
it's a political song about Margaret Thatcher.
About a certain lady,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, about the Iron Lady.
The Iron Lady. Perfect avenue to discuss our thoughts on the Conservative Party. Let's go. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Anyways, here's a deep discussion about why the Falklands War shouldn't have happened. Here we go.
And here's my counter arguments as to why it was great. No.
No, I mean, I don't know if The Beat were a particularly political band. I feel like political infusions into music were probably quite popular around this time. I feel like Ghost Town by the Specials was quite a political song.
It
Yeah.
is.
So, yeah, big up Scar for being political, I guess.
Unless you're Sting and you want to write about your experiences of being a teacher and having girls flirt with you. There you go.
Yeah, the musical Indiana Jones, but like less likable. Anyways, yeah, 3 points for you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Scar. I like the Beat.
Yeah.
I like the Specials. Need to get as similarly to you. I know of the Beat, but I've never hit the beat. You know,
Yeah.
never hit the beat. Yes.
Yeah. I also need to hit the beat as well. Your first one, I think I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an Ozzy Osbourne one, not a Black Sabbath one. I think it's Ozzy Osbourne on his own. I don't know when his solo stuff was. So year-wise, I might be very off. I think it's called Crazy Train. I just put metal because it's Ozzy Osbourne in it.
Yeah.
1976, roughly. And, yeah, don't really know. So I put your mum. Maybe she likes a bit of Crazy Train.
He's open with 5 points, ladies and gentlemen. He's open with 5 points. I think it might be easier for you.
I mean, your easier ones are at the start, so we'll see how we get along.
So the logic behind this is, because I did speak to Mum about this before you arrived, and she said she quite quickly figured out that the point of this game. Well, I say that there are different ways to approach this one. Do you make the extract difficult, or do you make the who chose it bit difficult, or do you try and do both even? And for this one, Mum's logic was very much let me try and make it difficult for Chris to figure out that it was me, because she doesn't like metal at all. She doesn't get it.
Of course.
And so she spoke to Dad, who has had metal phases in his life, and said, "Can I have like the metaliest of all metal songs?" And he was suggesting things like, well, you can do Sabbath, you can do...
Just going to whip out a bit of Metallica or
Yeah, he
something,
did suggest
like,
Metallica, I think. Or he said, well, Crazy Train's up there. Yeah, Enter Sandman was his suggestion. And she opted for this one. And because I was pestering her last night saying, not sent me, we live in the same house. You haven't told me what music you want. And then I went and sat in a separate room and did some work. And I got a text during that. And one of the texts was Crazy Train. And my reaction was to go, whoa, that's a surprise. But you've logicked that superbly. So
somehow. More luck than judgment, I think. But
no, look, it's I gave you the intro because I feel it's fairly iconic as well. So
it is, yeah.
With his bit,
aye,
like a seal. 5 points. Good
Thank
start.
you.
Very good
Cheers.
start.
Yeah.
Right. So this was like, it sounded, your second extract, like it was from, that era of pop rock, the one, that time period,
Okay.
like in the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I might be wrong.
Okay.
No? Okay.
Not giving anything away.
I was doing a Radiohead nod. But,
Okay. Could have sworn I've seen a light coming on.
this one
Is that the next?
something
I
like
can't remember.
that. I said, with what I thought I could detect as that era, I went for the Everly Brothers. I couldn't quite place a voice. But I think it's not a bad guess. I said, Here Comes the Night, 1956, pop rock. And this time I did go for Your Mother.
Yeah. Sorry, the Beatles song "Your Mother Should Know" popped into my head there for some reason. You have 2 points.
Okay, thank you.
Good job. This is, I think this was quite popular back in its time. It's by a band called Them.
Oh, I'm getting got, man.
It's
I'm getting got.
Sorry, obligatory. Here Comes the Night is the name of the song. I put blues rock, classic rock. It feels like that classic rock sort of thing to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I
think that's fair.
I might be wrong. 1965 is when it came out. This was a dad choice. Now, firstly, I would like to say that I asked my dad probably in the afternoon of a couple of days ago or something. And I said, yeah, just pick whatever you want. And then I think I'd gone to bed, and about 2 a.m, he sent me the ones that he'd chosen.
Stunning performance.
So I can't speak of how important they are to his musical tastes, or if they're just sort of random ones that he picked. But Them. I think you'll remember I used a rap duo called Them.
Yeah,
at some point.
I do actually.
I can't remember when this was.
Rings a bell.
It was in the mystery theme game.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember
Cool. Cool.
This is a rock band called Them. Now, they were fronted by a particular Northern Irish musician of whom had the same last name as the frontman of The Doors.
Hang on.
You've used them in a draft before.
I've used them in a... So is it Bono?
No.
Oh,
bearing in mind it's a 60s song.
Yeah, but he could have done it when he was about 5. Why not?
Northern Irish.
Hang on.
I think you wouldn't know that he's Northern Irish.
I'm having a massive blank. Right, lead singer of The Doors
is...
Massive blank. The guy who passed away quite young.
Yeah.
27 Club. Why am I not getting it?
Same name as like a big supermarket brand.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Something Morrison. I'm not going to get it.
It was in the draft, the V draft that we did.
Van
Morrison. Then were fronted by Van Morrison.
Okay, interesting.
Not for too long. I think he went on to be a big singer.
Of course.
And so for
was Northern Irish.
I mean that's why I said you probably wouldn't have. No. If me saying he's Northern Irish, it probably wouldn't have meant anything.
Not at all. No.
You just don't know. He's a Sir as well. I didn't know that as well. So Sir Van Morrison, I should say. So on a lot of the songs on Spotify that have this song, it just says featuring Van Morrison, even though I think he was in the band to start with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this is. I think it had been in like some like 60s and 70s like playlists, like rock playlists on Spotify that I'd been listening to. And I think it was probably one of the songs that I'd heard when I was younger, and then you listen to when you're older and you recognise it.
You go, aha.
And you go, okay. So yeah, that's probably as much as I've got to say about it. I like the song. It's nice. It is a love song. And to me, it feels like the night in this scenario is a bit like, because he's singing stuff like, "Oh, I've seen my girl out with another man, and he holds her like I held her. It makes me want to cry. Uh-oh, here comes the night." And it feels like the night in this scenario is the big sad.
The big sad. What a shame. What a shame.
And yeah. But yeah, no, I like the song. I think his vocal performance is nice. Maybe I need to listen to more Van Morrison. Yeah, good job. 2 points, I think I said.
I'll take the 2 points, thank you.
Your next one was another big popular one. And I think I've guessed correctly. I'm trying to be careful now because I have memories of all the other times that I've guessed musicians confidently and got it wrong. I think it's by Deacon Blue. I think it's called Real Gone Kid. Thank you for including that in the extract. Genre-wise, for some reason I've sort of blanked a bit. I thought it might be synth pop, but it's more pop rock, I guess. Glam pop. Don't know if that is even really a term, to be honest. Sort of like that, sort of like American, pristine sort of stuff. 1987, I think it came out late 80s, I want to say. And I think this was one, well, to be fair, I think for most of them, I just sort of randomly guessed who might have done it. I thought it might have been your girlfriend. She might have just sort of pinged this in going, "Oh, I've been listening to this recently." I don't know.
I like how you just put girlfriend there.
Yeah, well,
can't even type her name.
Well, here's the thing: is I don't know how discreet you want to be.
Of
about
course,
things,
yeah. I don't know. Like for instance, as you've noticed in all my answers, I've put mother, father, and then your surname, and I don't know whether to say that out loud either.
Yeah.
So I understand. 4 points.
Thank you.
From the categories you would expect to get them from.
Okay.
That's how I put it. It is Deacon Blue. I'm impressed you knew it because for me, this is one that, and this is not the answer. This is one that Dad was humming one night. And I was just like, "Oh, I know that. What is that?
Yeah.
I know that." Actually, no, it wasn't. I think he sort of said, "Oh, you know, like Deacon Blue," and I said, "Who?" He went, and his classic response to that is when he just stares at me and he goes, "Deacon Blue," and I go, "Who?" And he goes, "Sorry, do they teach you nothing? All this law stuff and all of this? You don't know anything, do you?"
No, I must have missed that module on Deacon Blue.
Yes,
in
Deacon
law.
Blue law.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is Real Gone Kid, 1988. Pop rock. I'll give you synth pop.
Thank you.
They're from Scotland.
Cool. I didn't know that.
There you go. I didn't know that either.
I guess that makes the accent make a bit more sense.
Perhaps, yeah. This is a me choice because it was when Dad said that, and I went, "Okay, well, look, let me look it up." And my girlfriend was here, and we looked it up, and we both went, "Oh, we know this."
Yeah.
Because this is like, not only was this a popular song, but I feel this is in that, like, archive of advert music that will come up once a year in an advert somewhere. The piano bit, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know the song, you know the piano bit.
Bow.
Da, 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 da. Ooh, 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 ooh. You know that bit. It's a very fun song. And when he reminded me of it, I listened to it for a while. It was in the playlist
in
for
the
a
rotation.
while. And it grew on me. It's just quite good. It's just a good song. I have no more to say than that. It's one that deserves the popularity. It's one of them. Do I know anything else about Deacon Blue? No. But I do know you've got 4 points.
Thank you. Cheers. Yeah. No, I think Deacon Blue is just the name of a band that's just swimming in the back of my mind somewhere.
Exactly, it's one of them.
And it's when you hear the song where you go, that's the connection. And then you make it. Yeah.
So we are on number three. This was like punk rock. But it was punk rock, and I was scouring my brain for punk rock bands that wouldn't be like one of the obvious ones who have a voice and style I could probably recognise easier, like The Clash or something. I didn't say The Clash. I said, because I don't know enough about them.
Would have been a good shout, to be fair.
I said The Wire.
The Wire.
I don't know enough. I think they're a punk rock band.
The Wire.
I think.
Wire.
Is it just Wire? Okay, well.
And another good guess, though.
Okay, he's given me that seal of approval, so my ego's not hurt at least, which is fine. I said Paranoid, which is why when we were listening to you, I made the joke of, no, I know a song called Paranoid, but it's not that one, is it?
Yeah.
1976, I said, punk rock. I said it was your pops, your father.
Yeah, no, this could never be... the person who made this song could never reach the lyrical heights of Wire.
I did. The lyrics were the thing that were bemusing me a bit, I suppose. Yeah.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. One of my favourite lyrics of all time is, "Next week we'll solve your problems, but now fish fingers all in a line." Oh. And them empty bottles stand empty. Stay glued to your TV set. One of the best lyrics ever.
It's very real. It's very real. So imaginative.
We've all
had that fish finger moment. We've all had it.
Every single word is poignant. But no, this is by a punk act called Shrink.
Nope.
Now, I understand. The track is called Valid or Void. I put punk rock or post-punk.
Yeah.
It felt, especially for the sort of year, it's like...
Yeah, of course.
Because the year is 1979. Which would have been the time of post-punk. And then it was my dad, yeah. So you've got...
first point in that category.
3 points from that.
Thank
Good job. Yeah, my dad sent me this, and I looked it up on Spotify, and the album art for this is so... It made me sad.
Okay, let's have a look.
I don't know why. It emanates bad vibes. I didn't like it.
What's the name of the album?
Well, the one on Spotify is just called Valid or Void. But to be honest, I think it was like a compilation album uploaded, and it's like, oh, this is this guy's biggest stuff. I want to say it's one guy, because the single or the album that this was actually off of back in the day, it's got a different album art that looks better and more of its time. Whereas this one, it just feels like one of those naff album arts that you'd see, and it's just like naff rock from like the mid 2010s, and you're like, what the hell is this? And so I looked it up and I had no idea what this song was, and because on Spotify it had only been uploaded this year.
Oh God, is it the guy's face?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it's got all like green. It's got like a green background, sort of.
It makes you feel a bit unwell.
It is a little bit unnerving. Yeah. The actual single art for this back in the day was better. I think this was a hit, I would say. But a lot of the YouTube uploads don't have very many views, so maybe it's a hit that since its time has sort of started going under the radar. But yeah, what else do I say? I mean, I don't know too much else about this song. My dad likes... I wouldn't say he likes punk. He's into some punk. He's more into post-punk sort of stuff. Like he's big into like Gary Newman and Tubeway Army.
Yeah. Well, that's what my dad said when Gary Newman came around. It was one of those moments for him. He was like, whoa, what's going on? Who's this guy?
Just changes everything. Yeah. And yeah, I just base it off the fact that this was probably a similar-ish song to Gary Newman stuff. I feel like the way he sings is a bit more it's not like punky singing, right? No. It's more flamboyant singing, which I feel is more like Gary Newman.
Exactly.
So I'll make those connections. But yeah, when I first saw the song, it had so few views on, so few listens on Spotify, and I thought, as my dad given me like just the nichest song he could find, and then just sent me it. But no, I think it's probably one that back in, because this would have been around the time that my dad was my age. A bit younger than me, actually. I should probably do him a bit of a service. He's not that old. You know, that the more I think about it, he was more of a mod than a punk. So it does surprise me that he jammed to this sort of stuff. You know, I'd have thought that maybe, I don't know, the Jam, ironically, would have been more stuff. But anyways, fair enough. He weaves. We'll say he weaves. Anyways, I'll stop talking about a song that I have very little to talk about. 3 points to you. Good job.
Thank you.
A good haul from a song that is as...
If it was not used on this game, I would have never found it's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Your next one. This was the one which I got to, and I thought, I initially put a very big name for this one.
I think I know what name you probably put, yes.
And the more I listened to it, I thought, it feels like it could just be British ska. So it could be the beat. It could be a special song that doesn't have Terry Hall on lead vocals. Or like is it called like Fun Boy 3? Was the shoot off of the specials? I can't remember the name of, because it would have been Terry Hall and the two black guys from the special. I can't remember what that was called, but I ended up leaving Bob Marley because I thought,
if it is,
then I'm going to kick myself. So Bob Marley and the Wailers, Dangerous. You said that a couple times, and then I just scattergunned just reggae genres, reggae, ska, and dub.
Okay,
just tell me I'm right, basically.
Well, you can't be wrong.
1978, and I thought it might be your mum because in a game before she's used a Bob Marley extract, and maybe she likes Bob Marley beyond the. Well, this might be a big hit. I don't know.
It's 3 points.
Thank you.
Including for the thing that I physically cannot not give you a point for. So you got the genre. You're a year over 77, and it is my mum who chose it. Again, I don't have much to say because it's not anything I know much about. Someone called Peter Tosh. It's called Stepping Razor. You didn't see that. I just shrugged. It's a nice reggae song. She has chosen reggae songs back to back, and I don't know if that means she's into reggae.
I think everyone's into reggae a little, but you can't dislike reggae.
No, you can't.
Everyone's into reggae a little.
And I suppose this was also not just reggae, but popular at the time when she was growing up as well.
Yeah.
What I will say generally about Mum is she likes music as much as anyone likes music, but I think because Dad likes music,
of course,
she on occasion is quite dismissive of certain bits of music. Not us, obviously, but I very almost use, and I can say this now because I think we've done both of my mums, haven't we? Yes. We were going to use what Dad remembers very vividly when they were first living together. He was playing something by the Smashing Pumpkins, he can't remember what, and Mum proceeded to, from another room, complain about it sounding like a dirge, which is another word for funeral march, basically.
Okay.
And so she doesn't like heavy metal music. She frowns when you say heavy metal music, and then that sort of alt rock sound that she thinks just sounds like men being depressed.
Yeah.
She can't stand either. So I very nearly convinced her to say, just put something by the Smashing Pumpkins on there because it would give me a funny anecdote, but I've told it anyway. But yeah, 3 points.
Thank you. Yeah,
you're welcome.
I'm enjoying the fact that for at least one of your extracts, your mum went with one she didn't like for the purpose of catching me out, and I got both of your mum's ones.
Yeah. So her plan has gone awfully. You've done very well with her ones, and that's her done. There you go.
That's a shame.
not in life. She's still here, but just in the game. So this was your fourth extract, a lady with a very nice voice, and I famously hate women, so I don't know any women musicians, because to listen to female music makes me throw up. So I said, I don't actually know how to pronounce her name, but I know she's very popular. Is it Sade or Sade?
Sade, I think.
Sade with
I got ticked off by my brother for saying Sade recently, so I think it's Sade.
Was it the older brother or the younger brother?
Younger brother.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, so Sade, there you go, is what I said, because I know that she's very popular, and I imagine this is the kind of genre she sounds like. I said Destiny, 2000, Soul, and I went back to Your Mother.
Your mother should know. Well, she would know. It is.
Let's go.
You have... I'll give you 3 points.
It's very generous, thank you.
So I had it in my mind that you might guess a trip-hop band for this one, like Massive Attack.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, it is trip-hop.
Oh. Wait, is it? Hang on.
Because it is by...
Let me hang on.
Awkward silence in the middle. I'll pander.
I suppose, yeah, maybe.
It's trip-hop because of who made it, mainly. Like,
Okay.
If it was made by the woman, it might be a different genre.
Yeah, okay.
But it's trip-hop because it is 07.
Tell you this, I don't know who 07
You don't know who 07
There you go.
are.
So I have no guilt.
Get used to it. This is all I had listened to when I was younger, basically.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure. I think this was probably around the time where they were big. They're quite popular. And my mum liked them. So when we were journeying, we just had 07 albums in the car, just non-stop,
Okay,
basically.
cool.
So, and I don't know if you ever get it where you have like songs that you remember from some point, but you can't place them.
Oh, yeah, massively.
I had a moment where I came back a bit to 07, and one of they collaborate with a male singer quite a bit. And one of the songs that had him, I recognised the vocal tone, and I thought, that's where I've heard this song.
Yes.
It's a 07 song with this guy on it. I still haven't found it. But yeah, the track was called Destiny. The female singer you're probably hearing is Sia.
Is it? No.
It might be the other woman on it, called Sophie Barker.
Gosh, she's been everywhere.
Yeah, in 2001 as well. I thought that's really early for her, but maybe she was just starting off, and maybe
Oh, there is something in
this
there.
was one of her breaks. I'm look up quickly to see if it is Sia singing there, because there is another singer on it called Sophie Barker.
Yes, which is also a name I recognise, I feel.
Yeah, no, I think this is...
There you go. I know 2 women, guys. So those claims have been put to bed.
I think it is. I think it is Sia. I think it is. If it's not, sorry, but
From 2001.
yeah,
I didn't realise she had
2001
such
trip hop.
longevity.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I didn't know that she was around at this time. Yeah, yeah, trip hop, and it is my mum. Yeah, as I mentioned, my mum was big into 07 back in the day. It's just sort of ambient-ish. It leads on from what trip hop was in the 90s, and that's why I put trip hop. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say. I've been subjected to a lot of 07 throughout my youth, and I don't dislike them. I just don't listen to them very much.
Sure.
So yeah, 3 points. Good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's not a band, again, it's just one I haven't heard of before. I guess what I would say is if it's come from this like family thing of, oh, this is what we had in the car at the time, I don't think Dad likes trip hop at all.
Okay.
I know he doesn't get Massive Attack, for example. He just doesn't get it.
Pause his head.
Doesn't get it. I'm fairly sure he doesn't get that either.
That's crazy.
I think it's one of them that if you were to ask him, he'd kind of pull a face and go, I mean, yeah, would be what he'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Something we'll have to work on. Something we'll have to indoctrinate your dad with. An enjoyment of trip hop.
I'm not sure he's up for that. He very often talks about how he struggles to enjoy music written this century. So make of that what you will. That's
fair. This one is a harder one. And typically I'd attribute the harder ones to you. So that's what I have done.
Sure.
I didn't know the artist, so take this one with a pinch of salt. I put Fishman's. I only really put it because
of course.
To me it felt like it might be a Japanese artist.
Sure.
I think Fishman's are Japanese, and before I've just had another racist moment.
No, I think they are. I think you're okay on that one.
I've typed that in wrong. Fishman's, they are a Japanese band. So I thought it might be them because it was a bit weird. It was a little bit weird. Mainly weird in terms of the quality sucked.
Yes,
like they recorded everything with
a Tascam recorder.
A Tascam, a potato,
okay,
a water bottle, whatever object you
wax
feel would be able to use. Yeah, an old iPhone.
Right at the bottom of the pile. Yes, potato, water bottle, old iPhone.
I thought it might be called Dominant Melody, but I might be doing that thing where people listen to music from other cultures.
And they make out words in their language. Yeah.
Noise pop, pretty much just because the recording quality was quite low. 2014, hazarded a guess. It might. I don't think Fishman still kick it, but again, I didn't base that much for my answer. Just sort of hoping that I don't lose too many points.
I'm going to give you 1 point.
Thank you for noise pop.
For the year.
Oh, cheers.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I am sorry about this one, but I didn't choose it.
Was it your sister?
It was my sister. And, I mean, she sent me this, and then she followed it up by saying, on Instagram, and she types in all lowercase, which makes things always slightly more funny than if it wasn't, like if it was properly grammatical. And she just went, is this okay? And I went, well, I mean, you've chosen it, and that's what you want. And she went, oh, okay, great. And I think she followed it up by saying something along the lines of, I know it's bad, as in the song. Okay. I think it's like one of those that she thinks isn't great, but she likes it even though kind of thing. I don't mind it. The quality of this is not good. I agree with you there. How do I pronounce that? I've looked it up.
Cool.
It looks like Enshukugawa Boys.
Okay.
Enshukugawa Boys. There you go. Even though it looks like a man and a woman, so make of that what you will. Well, in the video it was anyway. So she was playing the drums, he was playing the guitar.
Yeah.
I've translated the title, and I think it means Planet Magic.
Oh, cool.
It is Japanese.
Not Dominant Melody then.
No, I'm afraid not. 2011. I said twee pop or indie rock.
Cool.
And yes, my sister. It's too late for you to change your answers now, so I don't feel afraid in giving it's not really a hint, but I think we've spoken about this before. My sister will very often surprise me by having music range that you might not expect her to have, because she'll just suddenly drop that she's been listening to something. You'll go, you're listening to what? It's like when she asked for a copy of Fetch the Bolt Cutters for her birthday, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. And then,
in fairness, that is woman music.
Well, she has told me off.
That probably sounds quite bad.
No comment.
I'd imagine. Oh, I've listened to it, and I'd imagine it'd be very popular.
Well, it talks about female experiences.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
You can keep my bit if you want. That's fine. I don't think you said anything wrong. But no, when I say she told me off before, when I used it on a story or something, one of Fiona Apple's songs might have been Paper Bag, I think. And she proceeded to tell me that I'm not allowed to listen to that as a man.
Yeah, that's what I meant. We're not allowed to listen to it.
Well, no, but then
we do because we're naughty.
She'll also drop on you just like she really likes Tyler the Creator and that. And then this came out of nowhere, and the other one she's given me kind of really took me by surprise. And she's had her Radiohead phase, and she likes pulp, and she's a bit everywhere. And it's one of those where you go, oh wow, okay. She likes The Doors.
Cool.
She's got a poster of Jim Morrison in her room. So
Is that not just because he's good looking?
you'd have to interrogate her yourself. But I want to say she's listened to the album, as well.
Yeah.
So she'll be pleased to know she got you, is what I'll say.
Yeah, good job.
By giving you the hardest song in the game. So there you go. That is a point.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry she did that to you.
No, that's fine. I mean, I was thinking, in life there are pros and cons to being born.
Oh.
Being born a man or a woman, and I feel like I feel like one of the biggest ones is, men, you can't listen to Fiona Apple, but you can have Yorkies. So
True, and McCoys, and really big Kleenex tissues.
McCoy's only for men as well.
They used to call them like man crisps or something.
Oh, okay.
And then you used to get men's-sized tissues.
Yeah. Whereas women, you can listen to Fiona Apple, so
It's a trade-off.
It is, yeah. I'd like to think it's fair.
Actually, no. Let me follow this up very briefly, because I think I've said my sister's got good taste, but I haven't really said anything too left field yet. Not too long ago, she did say, she did walk up to me one day and went, "Oh, have you listened to Plantasia? It's really good." I was like, "What?" So she does surprise you. And yes, she's allowed to listen to Fiona Apple. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
Lucky.
I actually don't know who that is. I've made this whole thing up. I'm pretending for the female audience, but I don't know. So I've tried to big brain your fifth one.
Okay.
But we'll see if I have. This sounded like jazz fusion. And I'm thinking, out of your parents or you, that trifecta of people, who is going to be the most into jazz fusion? And I think you're trying to play me. I think this is you. Because I know once upon a time, and it may not be this, but if it could be maybe the best player of all time, or it's a valid guess, or I'm completely off. We'll see. It's one of those three options. Cassiopeia. And I said it was called Hokkaido Subway. They are Japanese, aren't they? Are they? Are they not?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. 1979, jazz fusion. And I said Sun, IEU.
Yeah. Well, you're right to think that neither of my parents are into jazz fusion. But you're wrong to presume that they wouldn't pick one to throw you off. No, I'm joking. It's me.
Moment.
It's me. This is.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, okay, I'll let you speak.
You get 2 points.
I'll take. You know what? I'll take that. Thank you.
This is by Himiko Kikuchi. They're. I'm going to say there because I don't know if they're a man or a woman.
Well, I'll do some research for you.
Their song called Look Your Back. Yeah, Jazz Fusion, 1978. This was me. This is off of Flying Beagle.
Yeah, this is, yes.
This is that Beagle album, yeah.
The one that I see on YouTube all the time with the beagle on the front. Yeah,
it's that one.
Cool, man. Cool. Very
educated guess with Cassiopeia because it's very, very much that sort of Japanese jazz fusion sound. It's really good. It's a very good album.
Cool. It's a lady. Well, she's a lady.
Swag. Yeah, no, she ensembles a harsh vibe. It's good music. It's jam. It's the sort of stuff that I'd imagine one of my good friends Sam would jam to. He's big into his this sort of stuff. It's just nice to have on. I feel it's hard to dislike. You don't have to listen to it and go, I'm so attentive, this is amazing. But even having it on in the background is nice. I think that's
probably true of most jazz fusion.
Yeah.
It can be good background music if you're not die hard on it,
It's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm not going to say much more than that. Good job for sussing out that I was the only person in my family that would plausibly listen to jazz fusion.
That would be a jazz head, yeah. I did have a recommended reel the other day of someone doing a thing of, it was like a DiCaprio clip, I don't know from what film, and he's there he's about to burst into tears, and the caption is, "Oh, when I finally hear jazz fusion coming from my daughter's bedroom," or something. And I was like, this has reached the wrong audience. I would not feel this way. I just go, oh, jazz fusion,
I wonder
okay.
what audience are jazz fusion haters. I wonder what audience are jazz fusion haters.
I don't see. I'm not a hater. It's not anything I'd gravitate towards, I suppose.
But it's coming up in your feed.
Yeah,
You might
I don't
be a
know
jazz
why.
fusion hater.
Well, see, I get a lot of things from, and this is a rabbit hole. I'm not going to go down musicians I don't like, but I'll leave that there because that's internet suicide when you're a musician to say what artists you really don't like. I feel so.
Easier to say as people rather than their music, I guess.
I suppose.
But, you're number 5. I concluded that this might be the Bee Gees.
Okay.
You Gotta Be Mine is a Bee Gees-esque title.
It is.
It was also lyrics in the name of the song, so I put it as the name of the song. R&B/pop, 1974. I put Your Sister.
Cool.
So, maybe this will display the range of tastes that she has. And maybe you try to throw me off by putting her twice in a row.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
I'm going to give you 1.5. You will see why.
It's by The Bee.
Without the G's, yes. Yeah. They've all been decapitated, so it's not completely them. No, because it's Barry Gibb, but he's with Barbara Streisand.
Fair enough.
It's a song called Guilty from 1980. It's a pop song, I guess.
Of the time.
And I said it was my girlfriend. It was her.
Oh.
Now, brief real-life backstory here is that we have started this recording on a day at about, 1:45, maybe. My girlfriend had not sent me her extracts until about 1:35. So I just about made them work, and I've just about got them in there.
12.
12?
45.
12:45. Oh, yeah, I suppose, yes. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
We were recording by 1:45.
Oh, I see. Yes, cool. Okay, yes, cool. Good point. And this is one of the ones she chose. I think she's chosen 2 good ones, to be honest. This is her kind of thing, I suppose. If it's not jazz or it's not musicals, it will be a song like this, sort of that 80s chill pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That's a genre.
Easy listening.
Yeah, almost. Although I don't really like that term. Do I have anything to say about this? Not really. I know the song, and it's one of those that you forget exists. It's one of those, but it's a good song. 1.5, leave it there.
Okay.
Cool.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
I'll take it happily.
Okay, I've once again tried to apply logic here, which sometimes works. I think this is a your mum choice.
What the hell?
What the freak?
You can't whip out a your mum joke on me like that.
Are you a Regular Show man? Did you ever watch Regular Show?
I watched it a bit.
You've got a character in there called Muscle Man, and one of the recurring gags is that his favourite joke to make is like when someone says something like, "Oh, I really like this song," and then his joke would be to go, "Oh, you know who else likes this song?" And you think you know what he's going to say, but every single time the punchline is "my mum," and then he high fives his friend, and everyone kind of goes, "What?" And you never quite get an adequate explanation as to why he does it. They do an episode exploring it where he just gets really cross, but they ask him about it. But you never really find out why he finds that so funny. Anyway, I've tried to logic this. I think this is your mother. And I know she likes an ensemble called Public Service Broadcast. who I think are instrumental, but I'm not sure, and this was instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people on the bit of recorded vocals, which sounded like a space launch or something, said Powered Descent, so I said that was the title. 2013. Post-rock might be too steep a compliment, I don't know, but I said art rock, I didn't quite know where to put it. Yeah.
I was going to put post-rock, but I also thought it was too steep a compliment. I just want to say Powered Descent is, well, in my mind, I first heard you say Powdered Descent, and for some reason that made me think of a cocaine addiction. But
yes.
Anyways.
Which I famously have.
Yeah. Is that why your shirt is completely white?
Yeah, when I put this on this morning, it was black.
We'll talk about this afterwards. Do you know what? I'm a cocky mug because my mum. Firstly, you're right.
Okay.
My mum sent me this, and she said, "Oh, Fred might get that because I've mentioned that I like public service." I thought, no, I've in his presence talked about music I like, and he hasn't got it when I've used it in the show. It's fine. He won't get it. And lo and behold.
You know what this demonstrates is that I listen to your mum more than you. I find her more interesting.
Yeah. I will let you off for not typing their name right. Public service broadcast.
Okay, that's very kind. You could give me half a point if you're being cruel. It's up to you.
No, you can have a full point.
Thank you.
Go is the name of it because they say go a lot in the song.
Oh, okay.
They say something go. Go. I put progressive electronic because for some reason it reminded me of Tangerine Dream.
Ooh.
But I'll give you art rock because there were some websites that were calling art rock, and I was going, yeah, it's art rock if they make rock music.
It's not really rock though, is it? I agree with you. I do agree.
2015, you were right. So I think you got 4 points there. So good job.
Thank you very much.
Weaving that answer. I also don't know much about public service broadcast. I didn't know how long that they were going for, but I think they are quite a recent group because I thought if my mum listens to them, then maybe they were kicking from at least the 2000s or something, but it doesn't seem to be that way.
I want to say they had a prom a couple of years ago.
They had a prom?
Like a BBC prom.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. They did, I think, yeah. When you said prom, I thought, well, they all showed up in suits and listened to music and got beers and
they're just a bunch of lads.
Yeah. I don't know much about them other than that. I feel like they might have a bit of a cult following.
I think you're right.
I don't know if the stuff is sampled, which could be cool. I also don't. This might be like a heavy concept album. Because it's to do with space.
Oh, possibly.
And this feels like the launch point, I guess. It might be. Again, I haven't looked into it. You'd have thought that, if we're talking about music, we should probably research the stuff we're looking at. But no, I just didn't do that.
Krautrock, really?
Yeah, people say krautrock, and I thought, it's krautrock if you make krautrock.
Exactly.
But, like in the ways in which people couldn't define what Kid A was by Radiohead, so they just said, it's art rock.
Yes.
And you listen to Idiotech going, this is like a dance song.
Yeah, it's electronica, I don't know.
So well done, 4 points.
Thank you very much.
I will stay mad.
Sorry.
You have to apologise for making me mad.
Oh, well. I suppose you've done it to me.
You have to apologise for getting the answer right. Well,
I'm sorry for being good this time.
Sorry for winning. My bad. Your number 6 was an interesting one. I heard an oboe in it, and I thought...
Yes.
Maybe this person's chosen it because they know that I play oboe. And that felt like a very your dad thing. But I guess that it had what I would and have described as symphonic synth.
Yeah, good.
Vibes.
Good.
I hadn't put it in the answer, but I'm going to put it anyway because I know that that's not what you've put. But
It's
I
not,
enjoyed,
but I love your commitment to it.
It's a good term.
It is,
and I've
it is.
heard enough music by electronic composers to feel like
It's valid.
I want to say symphonic synth. But yeah, I guess it was Vangelis for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It might be Suzanne Ciani. It might even be Mort Garson. I guess it was called Stepping Out. No reason. There's an ELO song called Stepping Out.
There's a song by Joe Jackson.
Popular song by Joe Jackson called Step In now.
Step In, yeah.
But yeah. I said New Age because New Age feels like one of those weird terms that, like, does it define music? What does it actually mean?
Exactly.
I'll use it and maybe it'll get me a point through leniency. Symphonic synth, electronic as well.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a synth, you put electronic, 1 point. 1983, and yeah, I thought this might be your dad. Let's
say 2 points.
I've sort of just been fumbling these last few answers.
Not at all.
I need to bring it back.
You're just slightly out with the year. You've done that the last couple. That's all. It is. I've given you the genre because you've just covered it really well, better than I have done probably. 1977 is the year. It is My Father. It's called Générique. It's in French. I don't know. By someone called Francis Lai. From a film called Bilitis, I think.
Okay.
I haven't watched the film. Dad hasn't watched the film. But yeah, he knows the soundtrack. The cover for the film, the cover for the album, has got a topless woman on it.
Swag.
So my dad stays winning. What can I say?
There's certain things you remember.
Yeah. He hates the music on this. It just came to mind. Don't know why. No, what I've realised, and I said this to Dad, is when I said, "Can you give me 2 pieces?" And when every time I came to say, "Oh, have you thought about it?" But his initial response was, "Well, he's not going to know it." And I was like, "Well, you just choose what you want. I can't direct you otherwise." He just went like, "Well, do you want him to be able to get it?" And I was like, "Well, kind of, but it's a game. Do whatever you want." And he went, "Well, okay, this one." And I've realised that you are a champion in their eyes. That because he likes Vangelis a lot. He just likes this sound as a conclusion.
Symphonic synth.
He likes symphonic synth. There you go. You can tell him that you've coined a genre he's fond of without even realising it. When I said this to him, he went, "Yeah, I guess." Yeah. So he hadn't even thought about it before, I don't think. But he just likes soundtracks that are weird sounding, have a weird warbly synth, and then an orchestra behind it as well. And it's quite progressive and cool.
Yeah, New Age.
New Age, exactly. When I was listening to this to get the extract for you, I was going to get a bit from the start of it, but then I let it keep playing as I was exporting it. And then suddenly an oboe came and I went, hang on, need to use this section now. Wait a minute. That wasn't there at the start. So that's fun. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I am a Vangelis man myself, and so I like this too. 1.5 points. Did I say 1.5?
2.
I said 2. Pardon me. Why did I say half? Sorry, 2.
Because I got 1.5 in the last one.
Oh, okay, 2.
And your mind is regressing.
Thanks. Cheers. Right. There was no jump cut whatsoever. Nothing happened.
No, we definitely didn't spend an hour doing something else and then come back to this.
No. I'm not delusional. You're delusional. Anyway. So, this is your 7th extract.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was quite a unique voice. And I know many unique voices, unfortunately. So it's not saying I'm going to be right here, but I thought out of that library of voices I know that this was most sounding like Talk Talk. And I said The Ghosts of My Life, 1982, synth pop / new wave. And I said it was your dad. Your da, if you're Irish. Yes.
Do you know what? I think when I think about the extracts I've got in these games, usually, I like to have a think of who you might guess. And I guessed you would guess Talk Talk for this one.
Really? Okay, so that means it's wrong.
but from a point, it is wrong. But from a point of view of the voice, but also the music as well.
Because it sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels a bit forward thinking.
Yes.
You can
it could
attribute
be
that to
post-rock.
Talk. Yeah,
it could be.
It went so far that I re-listened to Laughing Stock on the way here. So I don't know, maybe
Subliminal.
Maybe I was just trying to focus my mind on it. So that's what you would guess. But have you heard of a British band called Japan?
Yes, I have. This is Japan.
This is Japan.
We've had a lot of Japan today, haven't we?
There's been some. I feel like Japan always pops up in these games. I feel maybe we're just weebs naturally. It was called Ghost. I'll give you a point for the title.
That was very generous. Thank you.
Art pop. I put avant pop.
That's a thing.
Which feels like A, it's a thing, and B, feels like what I would class as this sort of music. There's a lot of it that's just not pop at all.
Yes.
Which feels like what avant pop would be. And I
agree.
don't mean that you would attribute avant pop to like a hip hop song or something.
No.
But synth pop I also put, so you get a point for that. 1981. It was my mum that suggested this, so
Interesting.
You got 3 points. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know why my mum suggested this. Like, this is very sort of not what I'd imagine her taste to be.
No,
like.
I wouldn't have. Well, I mean, you know better than I do. But.
Yeah, so I think I'm not sure if she was ever into Japan when she was younger. Yeah, you can hear how slowly I'm talking. I can't really focus my mind on any position where I know that my mum would listen to this sort of stuff regularly. It feels like something straight up my dad's street. But
it's why I put your dad, yes. You're a da.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I know definitely about Japan is, well, firstly, they're from London. They're from a similar sort of area to us.
Oh.
Which is cool.
I'll look it up instead of you having to say it, yeah.
The lead singer's called David Sylvian.
Let's have a check for you.
I think.
David Sylvian, yes.
Because I often mispronounce and say David Sylvain. It's David Sylvian.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard of David Sylvian before because he provides vocals for a song off of the album Venice by Fenege, which is an album I like a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
But ironically, actually his vocals are probably the thing I dislike the most about the album. And it's not from a point of I don't think he has a good vocal performance. I just feel like it's misplaced. Like within the album, it's very sort of, I often call it noise ambient.
Yeah.
And I feel like that genre term is close enough to what a person who knows what they're talking about would say.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I'd heard of David Sylvian before, and now to find out he was a lead singer of Japan.
I don't think Japan are on the list. Japan will have to go on the
They might
list.
have to. Yeah, they're interesting. Yeah, I don't think they had too many albums, and I'm not sure if I'm not sure if people saw them as like an album band or like a song band. But weirdly, this was like at the very end of their span as a band. I think.
Okay, cool.
It's a song off of their last album, and they've got a compilation album that's got this song on. That's actually. I looked on Rate Your Music, very highly rated.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'll have to check them out. I mean, this is a very interesting song. Synth poppy, but weird new age sort of like experimental synth sort of stuff as well. It's interesting all the directions it's going in, and yeah, I think it's pretty good. I might have to listen to Japan a bit deeper now because I thought it was good, but good comparison to Talk Talk. They feel like one would draw correlations between the two bands in some sort of ways. Not totally the same eras, but
well, it's nice to know I'm not too far off.
Yeah, it was a good educated guess. So yeah, you get 3 points.
Thank you. Take them graciously.
Now this next one, I remember hearing the start of this next one and thinking, this is Mid-Air Thief. And unless I'm incorrect, Mid-Air Thief sings solely in Korean.
And I believe you're right, yes.
And I'm pretty sure this isn't me doing what I did earlier and mixing, like you hearing sort of Japanese words hearing English words in a Japanese
No, this
song.
is in English, yeah.
It is in English, yeah. And I had Mid-Air Thief down for so long, and I thought, I can't leave it like that because I know that they sing in Korean. So I changed it to a band we've mentioned not too long ago. They appeared in a draft of ours, a bit like earlier before.
Okay.
Unknown Mortal Orchestra, I put. Not a massive gauge, it just reminded me of the guy's voice in times when I have heard of Unknown Mortal Orchestra songs, and I envision that this might be something that they make, but I don't know. I guess it was called Catching Smoke, Indie Pop, 2014, and this seemed like one that your sister would provide for such a game.
Okay. So, for my 7th extract, Chris, I will give you 3 points.
Nice.
It is my sister. And this is the one that kind of took me aback a bit when she sent it to me.
Okay.
I was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've given you a point for genre, but as you'll see, I've got a lot of different things for genre. And the title is Catching Smoke. But this is by a band that we both know, but neither of us have really ever gone down that rabbit hole. And it is a rabbit hole, may I say.
Okay.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And yeah, so when my sister sent me this, I was just a bit like, huh? Really? It just caught me off guard. I know very little about this band other than A, they are ludicrously prolific. Was it 4 or 5 albums in 2021 or something like that?
Just can't stop being creative.
Well, and they seem to touch upon every single genre as well. And the other thing I know about them is they did a collaboration with Mild High Club, and that's my only introduction to them at all, which was Sketches of Brunswick East, I think is the name of the album, which is okay.
Sounds about right.
Some of it I thought was a bit too twee for me. It's got kind of like sophisti pop jazz kind of stuff. It's just a bit like, okay. I don't have much more to say. I've already kind of spoken about how my sister surprises me with her music taste sometimes, and this is one of the leading instances. We're still not allowed to listen to Fiona Apple.
No.
I'll remind you of that.
Yeah.
But we can listen to Kate Bush. That one's on limits, I think. So, small victory.
Epic win.
3 points.
Cheers. Sorry, I was mid-swig there.
Mid-swig. So, this is this your 3rd instrumental one you've given me? Your 8th one.
It is, I think, yeah.
I think, for these last 3 in particular, I struggled to find a reference point.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of just tried to use what logic I can muster into answers I'm not necessarily satisfied with, but their answers all the same. I said, because of the time period and sound style, I said Giorgio Moroder. We'll see. I said Sleepless City because that sounds like the kind of title that this kind of song would have. 1984, because I'm thinking, Human League time and all of that.
Yeah.
Progressive synth pop, electronica. I think electronica is probably the truest shout there. I don't know. We'll see. Synth pop because of the time period as well, I guess. I don't know.
I always struggle with electronica because I can never tell if it means like electronic-y sort of music that has singing over it or what. But I can see where you're going.
I just struggled to find the right genre, I suppose.
It always feels like a genre term which feels like it's largely undefined as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I said this was Your Ma.
Your mother should know. I should stop saying that. I've said it after every single one. And it got old before I said it. And that's how old it is. You can have 1 point for
Oh
that one.
no!
This is by Space.
No! Are you kidding me? No!
But not the Space.
Oh, okay.
It's by a different Space.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, no, if Space made this. Be very odd, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
No, this
quite.
is by an electronic band group. I'm not sure. Called 1970. Called Space. My brain's leaving me. I was also going to say I also thought you might guess Giorgio Moroder for this one.
Oh, you've done back to back with me. Okay,
I also plausibly thought maybe Jean-Michel Jarre as well,
that's a good shout. Yeah.
based off of ones that I've used before. I think my dad used a Giorgio Moroder one in the last family game that we did, so it made sense. It's called Magic Fly, and it's off of an album called Magic Fly. I don't know much
Right.
beyond that. Electro, I don't know if that is actually it. Synth pop. It's got loads of big Giorgio Moroder vibes, so I don't know whatever genre you'd call Giorgio Moroder, I don't know. 1977 was the year this came out. Interestingly early.
Oh, they're from Marseille.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
well, there you go. French electronic. They like their synths.
Yeah, you got apparently Euro disco is a good option. Apparently, so.
Yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, my dad gave me this. Yeah, I feel like my dad. Well, in my eyes, I feel like my dad's more prone to give me something I wouldn't presume that he likes, and I'd just go with it because I'm like, I know you listen to a lot of stuff.
Of course.
Well, he likes some Giorgio Moroder songs. I presume that he'd like something like this, but yeah. Do you know what? I've nothing to say. I know very, very little about this band.
I know less.
Very little about the album. So I'll probably just leave it there. I think I gave you 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like weird electronic stuff, and it's got a 4 on the floor beat, so don't really know what that constitutes to the song genre-wise, but it is alright. It's decent. Yeah. Your number 8 is the next one that we're going to come to. A hard one. I thought it was called Duke of Earl, firstly, and it made me think. I feel like I know a song called Duke of Earl. But at the same time, I don't know who made it.
Okay.
I put pop rock 1975. I thought it was your dad choice, your dad, and I just put Rod Stewart because it might be Rod Stewart.
Oh, you know what? I don't mind that shout. I don't mind that because it's right. No, it's not. I'm afraid it's not. No, but you've done quite well there. 3 points.
Cheers.
Title correct. Genre pop rock. Yeah, I said doo wop as well. Could be. You're just in at 79. It was released.
Ah.
I chose this, and it's a band called Darts. Now there is a reason for this, and I was going to choose another song as my second choice, personal choice. But I had a vision. I don't know how this song came to me. I was just like, what an opportunity to use this song. Something in my brain just woke up. My work experience in sixth form was to go and work with a radio advertising company. And I was taken to a couple of different studio sessions. And one was for like a car dealership advert or something. And they had a big as in tall, I come in a really deep voice. And I think he was American. And he was a bit funky, and he was a bit loose, and he was a bit like, he was unserious in that way. And he had an amazing voice for radio, but it took 100 takes to get it right. And this is what the guy who ran the company called, what was his name? Oh, what was his name? I just had it and it's gone. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It matters, but
Mr. Radio.
Not for the Mr. Radio. He had said to me before we got there, he said, "Oh, great guy, really good voice, but he's not very professional. It takes him too many takes to get it right, so we might be there a while." And we were. And the advert, I still remember that opening line. It's a really raspy voice. And it was, "You know what they say, go big or go home." But the number of times he got it wrong, and every single time it was exactly the same reaction. And this will only be as funny as it could be for you, because it also involves a physical bit, which is he'd be talking and he'd go, "You know what they say, go big." Ah! And he'd kind of lean away from the mic and throw a hand up as if someone had just told him, like, a really dirty joke or something. Like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." Tim, the guy's name was Tim, the guy from the radio company. And every single, like, it got to a point where Tim, he wasn't rude, but he started to not laugh as well.
Yeah.
And so he started to go, "Right, do you want to do that again?" Long story short, I can't remember this guy's name that came in, but he told me that he was the bass voice in this band.
Oh, really?
And then I came home and I said this to Mum and Dad, and they went, "Oh, darts, really?" And so I looked up, and this was a song I listened to, and it was okay. So I believe he is the guy, in theory, that's doing the Jukovo, doing that kind of bass barbershop line.
Yeah.
And he gave me one bit of advice. He had one conversation with me. I didn't ask for advice, he just gave me advice. And it was, sometimes, I need to be like 2 octaves low, sometimes, you know, when you're just going about your day, just sometimes you just gotta take a walk and talk to God, you know? Just go for a walk, talk to God. And I don't think it's bad advice.
Except that you were a Buddhist.
Yeah, famously. I suppose it can't be bad advice because I haven't forgotten it. But then again, he was somewhat enigmatic, so he was difficult to forget.
Yeah.
But there you go, Fred Law. I saw an opportunity for Fred Law, and I've now given you Fred Law. And you've also got 3 points, so congratulations.
Cheers. Yeah. That's fascinating. Yeah.
Don't remember his name. Just remember my experience with him in a studio for about...
Mr. American. His first name might be Christian.
Well, because of Talk with God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good shout.
Can you see how I've logicked that?
Yeah, he did just point to his head, by the way, and he specified this. Marcus Rashford. So, this was a lady singing.
Yeah.
I don't know which lady. I said Cheryl Lynn. Oh, I meant to.
No, I just imagine you in your head. You're just flicking through all the ladies you know, going.
My girlfriend almost said her name. Well, she might not mind. I don't know. She has been shouted out on radio as the apparent third member.
Yeah, her name is in the credits of Video Twin
Rebecca.
stuff.
There you go. Or Becky.
Girlfriend reveal.
There you go. She found a video one time, and it's still one of her favourites on social media that she's ever found, which is someone going, "Oh, so you're a feminist? Name every woman." And then it cuts to a man who goes, and he kind of makes a gesture of like, "I've got this." And he goes, "Whitney Houston." And then it cuts to him lip syncing to "I'm every woman." it's just a good joke. The point is just a good joke, and Becky loves that video.
It's a very good video, yeah.
But no, I've gone back into my archives of women, and I've come up with Cheryl Lynn, who is the lady who did "To Be Real," which is a really good song. I said it's called "You Are the Universe." 1990 is what I said. Funk or R&B, somewhere in the middle. And I said, "Your ma."
Your ma. Yeah. Good job. Yeah, 4 points.
It's not Cheryl Lynn.
No, it's not Cheryl Lynn.
Okay.
But what I was going to say is to share stories.
Yeah, go on.
There's a funny image that I like. I think it's of a streamer called Point Crow. And he's got like two. I don't know if it's real, but it's got like 2 videos side by side. And one of them is like, you know, how long till I can name 100 women? And then the other one is like, how long till I can name 100 Pokemon?
Okay.
And the women one is like 2 hours long, and the Pokemon one is like 10 minutes or something. And I always found that quite funny.
Average internet person, yes. Average man on the internet.
Average man.
Well, I never got into Pokemon, I'll tell you that.
I also didn't. I was more of a Mario kid.
Yeah, I feel that.
This is by Brand New Heavies. Don't know if you've heard of them.
No, I haven't.
It is called You Are the Universe.
Oh.
R&B/acid jazz.
Acid jazz.
Which I learned, well, when I first saw it, I thought, well, is it like jazz, but they're using like acid synths? Like, I know what acid synths are. They're sort of like, how would I describe
Do they
an
sound
acid
fizzy?
synth? They sound like acid, and that's probably why it's got its name.
Okay.
So let's just say you had a synth sound and it goes, ooh.
Okay.
If you were to make it acidy, it would go, wow.
Oh, okay, right, okay, cool. That was well explained, thank you.
Thank you. To put it in musical terms. But acid jazz, I don't think it has anything to do with that. So something like acid techno would have more to do with that. You've got using a lot of acid synths. You've got like a lot of early Aphex Twin stuff is acid techno. Acid jazz, it's not the same acid. Acid jazz is meant to be like a fusion of like jazz and R&B and hip hop and like a bunch of different things. Basically, every like British pop group was doing in the 90s. Like
Right,
this sort of sound, basically.
Is acid jazz? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
1994 is when it came out. And this is my mum one. Now, this is what I would probably very comfortably call a very my mum pick.
Yeah.
She really liked Evelyn Champagne King.
Yes, of course.
Um,
of course.
And just a lot of like, I guess like R&B funk music. She liked a lot of D Train, that sort of stuff. And I feel like I'm pretty sure they're British. Brand New Heavies. Let me make sure before I make a fool of myself. They're from Ealing, yeah. Shout out,
cool.
Shout out British, London.
British.
Roots. So it's that sort of sound. I guess it feels like it takes a lot from American R&B stuff, which is cool. Don't have too much to say. I think it's all right. I probably should have put pop there as well as a genre, but doesn't matter. You got 4 points.
You've just there's a completely unrelated anecdote, so I'll try and make this as quick as possible. When you said, I mean, it's all right, really just suddenly vividly reminded me of something that happened to me in first year of university, when I was not only involved in the comedy society but also the theatre society at the time.
Uh-huh.
I am happy to have escaped it. It was a bit toxic there. And the current president at the time, I bumped into him, bit of a strange bloke. Was never quite sure if I liked it. He might listen to this one day. If so, sorry.
We don't like you.
But he started asking me about the Comedy Society, and to keep this as short as I possibly can, there was a lot of previous between members of comedy and theatre. So there had become a bit of a rivalry going on. The societies didn't really like each other at this point in time, and there was a running joke of if you were in both, like, it was never really meant, but people kind of shunned you in inverted commas. They had a joke with you about like, oh, why are you in both? But with some people you could tell they meant it a bit more than others, kind of thing. And so he was asking me about Comedy Society, and I was saying, oh, it's going all right. And he said, oh, is this person still in it, this main offender of the Theatre Society? I went, yeah. And he said, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, who's your president? And I went, oh, well, I guess I can say this, it's the Tsar. He goes, oh, yeah, the Tsar. I like the Tsar, yeah. But Patrick... and I've missed the point as to why it's reminded me of this. When he was talking about the Tsar, and the Tsar, obviously a funny guy, president of comedy, and he found this so hilarious when I informed him of this story. Because the thing that the president of theatre group, when I said, oh yeah, the Tsar's president, he said, oh yeah, I like the Tsar. He's all right. And bizarre, he thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And for the rest of first year, his favourite running joke with me and all the other members of that society were, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm all right. But Patrick, I'm all right. So that was quite you've given me a good memory there. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a very, very big phrase, it's all right.
Yeah, it can mean a lot of things.
It can mean a lot of things, yeah.
Loaded statement.
It is, yeah. On to your number 9. Yeah. Had a brain fart there. This felt very mild high clubby in sort of indie pop with jazz sort of infused. So that's who I put, because I didn't know who else to put. Guess it was called So Much Taller. Indie pop 2015. I think both of your girlfriend's ones have gone, but that's what I initially guessed.
I am going to give you 3 points.
Yes, thank you.
You were right to put Rebecca. You were right to do that.
Oh, nice.
I've given you
haven't
indie
both
pop.
gone.
I put chamber pop, but indie pop works. It's not quite chamber pop as I... The websites that I looked said chamber pop. Rate Your Music said chamber pop, so I've put chamber pop. But I wasn't comfortable putting chamber pop, because chamber pop for me is Grizzly Bear.
Yeah.
And this doesn't sound as...
Grizzly.
Well, I suppose. It doesn't sound as full, if that makes sense. There's not as much going on. So, it's by a man called Matt Maltese.
Okay.
And it's called Like a Fish. And to be honest, I think that's the main reason Becky was initially drawn to it, because it's called Like a Fish.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember the first kind of period of time she discovered this, and she kept going, oh, we should listen to Like a Fish. We should put that song on. I was like, Becky, no. And she'd go, what do you mean, man? It's called Like a Fish. It's great. And Matt Maltese, I don't know if you're familiar. He has...
The name rings a bell.
He did another song that I think was covered by someone on TikTok, and that went massive, which is the one of... you may recognise it, where he goes... oh God, it's you that I lie with, as the atom bomb falls down or something. It's you I watch TV with as the world caves in. As the world caves in. And I think it was covered by someone on TikTok, and that went massive. And I really distinctly remember Becky saying, yeah, but the original was so much better. Why are people not coming back to this? Which I probably agree with her. In fact, no, I do. I haven't listened to this song the whole way through. I think her insistence on, but it's called Like a Fish, man, has put me off ever listening to it in full. But maybe I should. Yeah, 3 points.
Thank you, yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I can't tell if I've heard of Matt Maltese before.
I think that one As the World Caves In song has done quite well.
Okay.
And that's bolstered him a bit.
Maybe that's where I've heard it, yeah. Okay.
So for your final one, Chris, I would like to draw you back to the first one my sister played. And one of the main questions you asked me about this was, is it meant to sound that bad?
Yeah.
This one was unintelligible. I had no idea what he was saying. I don't know, I presume it was a man. I don't know. Now, my logic behind this one, initially I was just going for, this is like weird noise rock or something that maybe your dad has picked up somewhere. I did say your dad. But then I thought, but hang on. And of course, if this is the case, I don't want to step on your toes. I want to let you talk about it. We recently did a cover for one of your family members of Maybe It's Because I'm a Londoner. So I'm thinking, is this like another not too great recording of like a traditional London Cockney song kind of thing? So I've kind of tried to blur the two answers together, in that I've retained my artist guess of Captain Beefheart, because just in case. The best I could make out of what the person was saying was We Go Down, but that could be miles off.
Yeah.
I said 1955, traditional / folk / skiffle / jangle pop.
Skiffle.
Why not?
Jangle pop.
Why not? There's a piano in there. Why not?
Oh, okay. I just put it in there as like It's like a random genre term. Just
Kind
sort
of.
chuck it in
Just in
there.
case. Just in case. And I said it was, to round it off, your dad.
Yeah, da.
Mm.
You can have 2 points for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, this might be an old Cockney sort of song. Definitely sounds like a Cockney singing it. But I'll be honest. I've no idea
Oh,
about anything else in this extract. It's by a band, possibly, called Lieutenant, or should I say, a lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Yeah.
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Pigeon.
Pigeon. Wow.
And the track is called Mouldy Old Dough, spelt wrong, because mouldy shouldn't have a U in it.
No.
But maybe he was saying that the dough is able to be moulded. Which, I mean, yeah, all dough should be. Thank you. I said folk/blues. I think blues is mainly the thing we're going for here. 1973, probably later than you think. Sounds like it'll be like a weird 40s song or something. And yeah, it was my dad. Yeah, I don't know why my dad chose this song. It is weird. I mean, again, the only thing that I can imagine why he chose this song was because my uncle made us cover an old Cockney song.
Exactly, that's my logic. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner.
Yeah, good choice.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I don't know. They've got an album called 2 albums of theirs called Mouldy Old Music.
There you go.
And Pigeon Party. Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. It reminded me a little bit of. Have you heard of the Penguin Cafe Orchestra?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
It reminded mainly in terms of the name of the band.
Yes.
Not really in terms of their sort of songs. The Penguin Cafe Orchestra can be a bit weird in a different way.
Versatile.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I wish I had more to say. It's the last one. I wish I had more to say about it, but I don't. This is.
We can blame your dad.
Yeah, it's probably just one in which I'd probably randomly hear my dad singing around the house and go,
Yeah. What is that?
I don't think this is a Rod Stewart song. What is he singing here? But yeah, no, you got 2 points. Good job.
Thank you.
Learn how to spell mouldy.
You fools. They're probably not active anymore, so I doubt they're going to come back and make amends.
They've probably been told many times that they spelt it wrong, and they went, "No, it's because it's mouldy because it can be moulded."
I'm sure that was the intention.
They're from Coventry, so maybe that is the classified Coventry accent. I don't know.
Well, here you go, folks. You heard it here first. Chris just called people from Coventry illiterate. There you go.
Yeah, it's probably not too different accent-wise from London, I guess. It's not too far away, is it?
I can't imagine so.
Anyways, your last one. I didn't really know what to put for this one. I think voice-wise, I think I was a little bit unsure. Because when I was hearing the music first, I thought, this has got like Smith's Rebound Band written all over it.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm thinking the Sundays.
Yeah, I like that.
There was one subtle skip in the song I noticed. And I thought,
was there? Sorry.
I don't know if that's a consequence of you or maybe the song that you've taken it from. I don't know. It might be an intentional studio trick. The guy was like, no, I want this very specific point to just drop out.
And then everyone really overanalyzed it for years to come. And then eventually someone will finally come out and go, oh, we didn't even notice that. Sorry. We just left that in. Sorry.
It might have been. Yeah. But I couldn't pinpoint the voice. It was quite a unstable voice, I will say. In terms of pitch, I don't mean like they're slowly losing their sanity over the course of the song. So I ended up putting The Cure, mainly because I thought it sounds like a love song. And I know The Cure are partial to a love song.
They can be.
They have a song called Love Song.
They do. However far away.
Which I did a bass cover of, if you want to check that out.
It was really good.
If you want to check that out.
It was also the one I definitely asked for.
And I put country rock. I don't really know why. It feels like country rock, jangle pop. That sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
1989. And then I initially thought it was you. I think we've had both of yours already, but let me think who hasn't had two yet. I don't know who hasn't had two yet. It might be you. I don't know.
My two were Darts and Deacon Blue.
Oh yes, yeah. Is this your dad?
It is.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 2 points. I'm going to give you a point for the year,
Mm-hmm.
but then I'm going to combine the half point of you saying Jangle Pop
Mm-hmm.
with the half point for a title.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give you 2 points.
Cheers.
So, this is a man and his band. This is Lloyd Cole and the Commotions.
Yeah.
It's called Are You Ready to Be, as you said, Heartbroken. 1984, so you're just in jangle pop, folk rock, indie pop, and it is My Dad. Now, I know, as you said, when you leave the thing till last, it's normally the one you have the most to say about. I don't necessarily have buckets to say about it. I've got a story and a general point. The general point is that this is off an album called Rattlesnakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you were to put my dad on the spot, and he's like us two in that he kind of struggles with the whole what's your favourite question. I don't really believe in it. But he did say to me when he said, give him this one, he said, if you were to dump me on a desert island somewhere, I could only listen to one album for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It would be Rattlesnakes by Lloyd
That's
Cole
really
and the
cool.
Commotions. He loves this album. And so I put this last to say that because I've referred to him many times on the Whiteboard Game as being this bastion of musical knowledge. And so I think it's interesting that there is now a reference point for me especially of, so that's potentially his favourite, if you want to use that word.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for someone
Yeah.
who knows so much music. Now, the story is that, and I don't know if I've told you this story before. Now, as you know, Chris, the acoustic guitar I use was gifted to me
Yep.
by a gentleman called Andy, who's not here anymore, unfortunately. But he was cool, man. He was a cool guy. And he really liked music as well. Case in point, he owned that guitar and many others. Yeah, he was great. You can hear his very hearty laugh if you listen quite carefully at the end of Happiest in the Room. That's his booming laughter.
That's really nice.
But he and Dad, obviously, they got on very well. And Dad one day wanted to give Andy a music recommendation. And he said, listen to some Lloyd Cole. So he gave him like a Lloyd Cole album. It might have been this one. And then when he got the CD back or the tape or whatever it was, and he said, it was all right. It was all right. I thought it was a bit amateurish. And I think it might be the most deflated Dad has ever felt in relating to music. He tells me that it was quite a devastating gut punch of just one of your absolute favourites of someone you quite respect. Then telling, it's like if when I played you So that one time, if you was to turn around to me and just go, like, I've got no issue with anyone going, it's not really my thing, but to sort of go, I thought it was a bit basic, to be honest. It's a bit like that's my favourite. That's possibly my favourite album.
Yeah.
Or Pink Moon, it's a bit overrated, probably. And so that's that anecdote as well. But yeah, so if you were to ask him later or whenever you see him, like, Lloyd Cole, huh? Dad would go, Lloyd Cole, yeah. So there you have it, 2 points.
Thank you. Yeah,
You're welcome.
I've come across Lloyd Cole before. I think I used his song "Lost Weekend" in a group whiteboard game before.
I think you might have done, actually.
And it's just as I'm going over that song now and thinking about his voice. I think it's the exact same.
There you go.
So if I'd brushed up on my Lloyd Cole, maybe I would have fared a bit better.
Well, so there you go. Now I know that if we ever do a family game, though, that you're tuned into Lloyd Cole. So I need to advise Dad to, despite if he wants to, never do it again. It might be too obvious. Okay, so we get to numeration time, where we add up our scores. I think I'm correct. I think it might be quite close.
I need to recount multiple times.
I know, I get the feel. You know, I'll do it backwards to double check.
That's actually a very good idea. Yeah, okay, right.
Okay.
Okay.
So would you like to count down? Would you like to
Sure.
do the
Yeah.
honours?
I don't think I've ever count down before.
I feel generous today.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, for the last Whiteboard Game episode of the season,
Of course, yes. This is our first series
This is-
complete. Yes.
the final scores.
Someone do a tally of all the episodes.
Should
That'd
we
be
do a
interesting.
tally or no? It's not about who wins. It's about who plays best,
Which is true if
who
Chris
enjoys
wins.
it the most. Okay, are you ready?
Yes. Are you
Okay.
ready to be heartbroken, Chris?
I'm ready to win.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
For the last time this
Okay.
year.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Have that.
You know
Have
what? That's the perfect finale. That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Utterly close. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I got 27 points.
I got 27 and a half points.
And a half. Now, the half-point convention, I think, is something that Chris has instilled over the duration of this game. He's played the long game. He knew that this would happen one day.
I've instilled it into you so that
He
now I
knew
get the
that
half points.
this would be necessary for a half-point win one day.
Mm.
That is unbelievable.
And it's come at the pivotal point.
Well played.
Well played.
Well played.
Very fun game.
Unbelievable. What a way to
Yeah.
close the series. Goodness me. Well, there you have it. Closing remarks on the first series. What does one say?
Well, thank you all for listening. It does feel a little bit teary. It feels
It's
a little
quite
bit
emotional.
weird.
Yeah.
It's last season. Thank you.
We've commodified one of our hobbies. I don't know.
Yeah, we've turned it into something that we still enjoy doing though. Yeah, thank you all for listening to us for the duration of this series. It's only been out since September, but we've been recording it from the start of the year, so it does feel a bit weird to think that those
So
very
many years
first
gone,
recordings
yeah.
that they were almost a year ago. And thank you all for listening to all of the episodes. We know you've listened to all the episodes.
Well, if you've got to this point, you probably have.
Yeah. Thank you for staying diligent, and thank you for just supporting us, listening to the stuff that we do. It's very easy to take for granted people who do pay attention to your stuff and do listen to it and take something from it and want to let you know that they enjoy it as well.
Well, of course, I think it's very easy to take for granted whatever help anyone can offer, however small the contribution, especially when in the modern age of not just music but artistic endeavour generally, you haven't got ludicrously rich or famous parents, or you haven't got backing from a big company, or you're not child stars or whatever, You're crafting to create something from scratch at a normal age.
Yeah.
And this is not me kind of doing a thing of just like, oh, boo-hoo, we're working so hard, the system's against us, boo-hoo. But it is a point of thank you for making up the audience that we do have. Whatever audience that is, we are grateful for it. And you are part of it. Again, if you've got to this point, you definitely are.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah. And here's to the next season of the game, where hopefully we play a lot more enjoyable games and that you like our games. I think the first episode of the next series will probably be a favourite albums one.
Yeah, good way to start.
Makes sense to start it too.
And then...
I'm not sure if we're still certain about whether or not we're going to do the favourite ones as often as we would usually, but we'll have a think about that. We'll have a talk about
that bridge,
what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was going to say it could be, but this is something for us to discuss, really. Maybe we'll do another best of the past year kind of thing, like a highlight thing of the past year.
I think so, yeah. I think that would be good.
Because I think that's always quite a good one to just use music that you haven't had the opportunity to use, kind of.
Yeah.
What was I was going to say? If you have any ideas for games yourself, Yeah, let us know. We'll try our best to accommodate them.
Yeah.
Have you got any favorite? What are your favorite whiteboard game moments? Let us know. Who's your favorite player of the whiteboard game so far? You got 2 choices. Which one of us would you go on a date with?
Whoa. You've got a girlfriend.
I do, but it doesn't stop people.
Well, I know one person's answer, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, unless she's changed her mind, in which case, oh dear. Was there anything else I wanted to say?
There was one thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, go on, please do.
We've had at least one request to join us in the whiteboard game for an episode.
Yes, if people, we should have guests. We should have guests.
We'll think about how that's going to work. We'll have a talk about that and see about incorporating it, and then hopefully we should have a couple more people. So that might help spice some things up a bit. Keep things from just being our two voices, which if you like them, then that's good. But if you find that you don't like them, you might not want to stay around for too long. Let alone the 1 hour and 50 mark. But
it's below 2 hours though.
Yeah,
we've
done a good job on this one, I think. That's all I wanted to say. So stay tuned for potentially other players.
Yeah. If you want to get involved, let us know. We'll see if we can make it work.
We'll see how we can accommodate.
Your ideas, whether you want to join anything, let us know. We're very easy. We're nice people.
We like to think we're nice people.
We
are nice people.
We are.
If you say we're not nice, you're wrong.
You aren't nice if you say we're not nice. How about that? Yes, he's stunned into silence. There you go.
They can't say anything.
Well, do I have anything further to add? I'm not sure I do.
I don't think I do either.
Stay tuned for an album as well. That would be fun.
Hope you've enjoyed your Christmas. I think this is probably going to be uploaded on New Year. So
okay, cool.
Hope you enjoyed your New Year, whatever you did last night. You might be listening to this recovering from a hangover, in which case I hope it's helped.
I really hope this is the correct cure for a hangover. It seems peaceful enough to be, but maybe not. Any resolutions? To listen to all of the Whiteboard Game podcasts would be a good start, I would say. Forget the gym. Yeah. Take us to the gym. Why not? That's a good place to listen. Yes. Hope you had a wonderful holiday, whichever one you celebrate. And here's to another year of life, of music, of whiteboard games.
Of living, laughing and loving.
So true, man. So true. Okay, actually, no. I'll end this off with this. This will be the last thing I say. Chris, if you were to pick your favourite moment from this first series, what would yours be?
Cool. I don't know. Do you know? I really enjoyed the. It's the first one that came to mind, so it probably is my favourite. I really enjoyed the Carlos Eduardo ensemble incident. I thought that was. I thought comedy peaked at that point. And I got a lot of satisfaction out of it, and I thought, I would rank it high. So what about you?
I was going to say the same thing, to be honest. I think the Carlos Eduardo incident was a good moment. I've got somewhat fond memories of the Lost episode. I think that is becoming a bit of a meme. Yeah.
Lost Media.
Ooh, most mysterious Lost Video twin.
Most mysterious podcast on the internet.
But I would say generally, because even though it does frustrate me in the moment, I always kind of look forward to it with an anticipation. I would say whenever you've caught me out, which you are quite good at, it's probably been, against the odds, my favourite moment.
Oh, okay.
I think in particular, what comes to mind is They Might Be Giants, obviously. But then I remember being fairly frustrated about Daniel Johnston as well.
I didn't even use that in a game. That was just after.
Yes.
Do you know, it was after the Carabao Cup final between the two teams we support, Liverpool and Chelsea.
Guess who's who? I probably made it obvious, haven't I? So.
Well, Chelsea lost, and I was distraught.
Yes.
I thought we played well. And I think I put what was it called?
True Love Will Find You in the End.
No, I think it was called like Depressed Man Blues or something
Yes,
like that on there.
yes.
Where it goes, there ain't no fun in living anymore. Which I thought was quite funny. And then Fred's in another room when I post this, and he comes in and goes, "Wait, Chris, you didn't tell me you've been listening to Daniel Johnston this whole time."
That one hurt.
And that was a reveal.
That one really hurt. Yeah, I was so close, and I've put it off since because I now feel no pressure to get to it. So,
get whiteboard gamed, mate.
it will happen again. It will. It's due to happen for a whole other series.
And Chris will spend the whole thing trying to indoctrinate you to become less sensitive to it.
I never will. For the sake of entertainment as well, I never will.
Okay.
I have now run out of things to say.
Okay. I too. Shall we just, press end here and?
I think there's one thing we're forgetting.
Oh yes.
And that's for the last time in this series. I think as we turn the corner of a new year into a new series of the Whiteboard Game as well, more pertinent than ever, more relevant than ever. It's not just a maxim about this podcast. It is a rule that speaks to a general principle about life. That the things we enjoy must keep going.
Must endure.
And so, with that thought, we hope you've enjoyed. We will see you back for the next one, a whole new series of ones.
Sorry, I burped.
Whiteboard Game.
Forever.